Well, now my family is furious. My mom is calling me ungrateful for all of the help she's given, and my sister said I'm ruining my daughter's life by not letting them guide her properly. They've even started a smear campaign in our PTA group claiming I'm a negligent parent who doesn't want what's best for my kid. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Gray in Between. I'm your host Lola, and together we'll dive into the captivating tales from Meta and beyond, where life's most complicated moments take center stage. Let's get into today's first story. I, 29 male, disagree with my girlfriend's 23 female definition of commitment. Should I stand my ground? I think it's very important that you guys establish what commitment is to both of you at the base level. And then if you guys don't agree, you just part separate ways because that's She cheated on. Oh, we start off the sentence like that. Then I guess you guys do not know what level of commitment you guys should be on. She cheated on me last year and we got back together at the beginning of this year. It's been a rocky road since, and I struggle with the fact that she always seems to make excuses when she handled things poorly. Lately, I've been at my wit's end because, in spite of the fact that I'm the one forgiving infidelity, she feels perpetually insecure. As a result, she does manipulative things trying to secure herself and turn the relationship into what she feels like she needs it to be. I'm trying to get over everything that's happened, but it gets difficult when she gets controlling. The cheating itself felt like a power play, so when she tries to bend me to her will, I get pretty triggered and usually remove myself from the situation or ask her to leave. I honestly believe, maybe because I naively want to, that she doesn't realize what she's doing. We both had hard upbringings and I've gone through the dark night of my soul. So I know what it's like not to realize how toxic one's own behavior is. Today we were talking about our feelings and I told her that I don't always feel like I know who she is. I explained that I feel manipulated by her conduct and emotional display sometimes, and I choose to believe it's not intentional, but admitted that I have my doubts. She responded to this by telling me that she didn't have a lot of time left to find the person that she's going to have children with, and my lack of commitment makes her feel insecure. You're 23! What? This rang my manipulation alarm bells super hard, and I desperately want to believe that it's a false alarm. I explained to her how much it hurt to have her question my commitment when I'm still with her after she cheated. I explained that it's only been a few months that we've been together again and that it hasn't exactly been smooth sailing. I told her that I don't need things to be easy, but that I feel like my commitment to our relationship should be apparent in the fact that I've been navigating these rough waters with her in spite of what she did. She said that she understands that we disagree about the meaning of commitment, but that she needs to pull back to protect herself from disappointment, and that she doesn't feel like I'm committed in the way she wants. She's telling you in more ways than one that she does not want you, but she wants you to end the relationship so she can not feel guilty about it. The thing that really has me doubting whether or not it's even healthy to keep trying with her is that she said, if you're not even open to the possibility that we may break up, that's not commitment. If you're not even open to the possibility that we may break up, that's not commitment. What? I probably already know the answer, but I need some outside feedback because I feel like I'm going insane. Please help me understand what commitment means to other people. Thank you in advance for your help. She is literally gaslighting you on the definition of commitment. Don't let her do that to you. She says she doesn't have a lot of time left to find the person that she's going to have children with. Is she dying? She's literally 23. Plenty of time. You're not even open to the possibility. I can't get over if you're not even open to the possibility that we may break up, that's not commitment. This is some grade ABS. I don't understand what that even means I really cannot comprehend that. You sound like a very fine young gentleman. What are you doing? You took back a cheater and she's acting weird. What do you hope to gain from this? It won't end well. She's not even ready to be a mom, but she has the nerve to talk about his level of commitment when she's the one who cheated. That just like bonkers to me. She's insecure and controlling, and she's probably afraid that you might cheat on her because she did it. Am I the asshole for storming out of my wedding reception after my sister-in-law's speech? I, 26 male, got married to my wife, 32 female, this weekend. The ceremony went great and the reception was going well. Just after we ate, my father-in-law and best man spoke, then my sister-in-law. All was going smoothly until she brought up an awful time in my life. A little background. During COVID, I lost most of my savings on the business I had unluckily opened in October of 2019. I was also dealing with bad gastrointestinal problems and horrible IBS. I felt like shit, like I had no hope, and getting my life back in order would take forever. Friends who had been part of my business left due to the failure, and others due to the medical problems. My fiance was the only one who supported me and gave me hope. She helped me rebuild my self-esteem and eventually my business, and I cannot thank her enough. When I was at my lowest, I wrote an emotional note about these feelings and went into detail about all of the horrible things I felt both emotionally and physically. I also wrote about how she was my strength and kept me afloat. I told my wife about writing my thoughts, but never showed her the note. Midway through my sister-in-law's speech, I saw her unfold this dreaded note and start to read it to the audience. Not just the part about my wife, but a full paragraph before it where I described how hopeless I felt and the details of my darkest moments from my toughest battles with IBS. I was so embarrassed. My sister-in-law started to cry as she got through the part about my wife and went on to say she never knew how bad it was, but knew our love would overcome anything. I got red in the face, stormed out to the back in the venue, and lit up a cigarette. I haven't had it in years. Some family members ran out, but I told them I needed to be alone. I came back after a bit. Everyone was eating and dancing, but I was still getting stares and I just felt horrible. My wife comforted me, but we didn't really talk it through since she was entertaining family and whatnot. After the party, I brought it up with my sister-in-law. I told her I felt violated that she would somehow get a hold of that note and not only read it, but share it with everyone. I said it hurt because the memory of the wedding ceremony felt tainted by the speech and my reaction. She told me she wanted to share a beautiful image of our love and didn't see anything wrong with it, that it reminded her of when her smoothie business failed and gave her hope. She even told me it was a toxic coping mechanism to repress those feelings and be ashamed of them. I felt like the convo was going nowhere and we didn't speak for the rest of the night. It hasn't helped that distant family and friends have been recommending IBS treatments to me. My wife agrees with me, but thinks sister-in-law had good intentions. I told her she's an asshole regardless for not even checking with me. Sister-in-law hasn't reached out to apologize yet, and I heard from mother-in-law that she thinks I'm overreacting and trying to villainize her. Am I the asshole? Your sister-in-law is a weirdo and has zero self-awareness. I don't know. I gotta know how old she is. She sounds old enough to know. How did she even get the note? Why did she think it was a good idea to violate your privacy? There's literally no good intention behind there at all. And she should have for sure ran the note by and said, hey, I found this. Like, I think it'd be really beautiful to read in front of people. I see ill intent, 100%. I personally would go no contact until she apologizes and truly apologizes from the heart. And if you don't get that, then it's whatever. You just don't have to communicate with someone like that. But it sucks that your wedding was tainted by that memory. I get that. That would really piss me off. I would be really mad. I'm like the type of person get up and storm to the front and cut the mic and be like, please don't talk about my personal business like that. I would have embarrassed you back. I'm not big enough yet to mentally big enough to walk away. I'm learning, but I'd be like, what do you think you're doing? That's none of your business. Get out. My boyfriend is mad that my parents invited my ex to a football game. That is very weird in my opinion. Ex-husband, father of your children, what is it? And she says she's 24, her boyfriend is 26, and her ex is 41. I was with my ex for almost 6 years and married for about 7 months. I should have never gotten married. I know, but my divorce was finalized during the summer. I met my current boyfriend before my divorce, but we were never serious until after everything was finalized. We've been talking for about 8 months, technically dating for about 5. Obviously, there is a huge age gap between my ex and I, one of the many reasons the relationship didn't work. But my parents normally got along with him because he was close to their age. Oh, they invited them because it's their friend now. They went to many football games together while we were still married, and my mom told me she invited him and his best friend to one last night. She told me that she would not bring me up at all, and if he tried to bring me up, she would not allow it. So I really didn't find it too concerning. My boyfriend wanted to FaceTime my mom to see what they were doing, and I told him truthfully that's not a good idea because my ex is there. To my surprise, he completely flipped the script and got mad at me for it. I told him I have no control over what they decide to do, but reassured him there would be no conversation of me or him, and also told him that I have absolutely no communication with my ex whatsoever. He told me he's extremely unhappy with the situation and thought so highly of this relationship until now. I couldn't understand why, so I kept asking him what I did wrong. He kept saying that I didn't do anything wrong, but if the roles were reversed, I'd feel the same way. After a while of back and forth, he told me he's considering breaking up with me over this. I cried and asked why would he do that when it has nothing to do with me. He just kept saying that he has the right to be unhappy right now, and I validated his feelings many times and never dismissed them because his feelings are valid all the time, as are mine. He then tells me he doesn't think he wants to break up, but does want to take a step back because we are moving too fast. I asked him what does he mean by this, and he said that he always had concerns since we started talking that I would go back to my ex, and here we are. I told him I have zero interest going back to him and have not even seen him, let alone talked to him since the divorce and even before. All communication with him was about the divorce. He said he still wants to talk to me and hang out here and there, but I told him I have too many feelings involved with him at this point to just hang out casually when we spend every day together now and have talked about moving in together, having children, etc. He told me he no longer wants anything serious with me, and I just broke down crying because I feel like I've just wasted my time. I've constantly tried to reassure him. I don't talk to my ex. I apologized on my parents' behalf and told him I'd be having a serious talk with them today. It almost seems like he was looking for a reason to step away from me, and this was a good one. Do you think his reaction is justified, or does it seem like he's overreacting? I'm just so lost right now. She has a small edit, so I'll read that first before I give my 2 cents. Guys, I know the age gap is weird. I see that now, hence the divorce. I was blinded before and thought nothing wrong of it. My parents didn't want me to marry this guy, but didn't interfere because I am an adult. Yes, I am in therapy. I talked with my parents just now and told them how I felt, and they understand and said it won't happen again. This does not fix the issue with my current boyfriend. There also seems to be some confusion about the game. I was not there. I was at home with my boyfriend. My parents had 4 tickets and invited my ex and his best friend. They tailgated together and watched the game together. I was not there and did not see my ex. Do I think it was weird that your parents invited your ex to a game? Yes. Do I think your boyfriend's reaction to this was completely blown out of proportion? Absolutely. It does kind of ring alarm bells to me that he had such a strong reaction to this when a simple conversation could have been like the fact that I initially thought you guys were at this game together. He was there, everything. But if they're going on their own time, their own dime, they're grown ass adults too. You can't tell them what to do. And if I'm with you and I'm telling you, oh yeah, my parents are with my ex, why are you getting mad at me? I'm not there. I'm not talking to him. I'm not with them. I'm with you. I think there's a lot of, what is the word, guys, when you're not insecurities. I think he has a lot of insecurities in your relationship, and this is really weird, the fact that he just wanted to step back but spend a lot of time with you. Maybe he did want an out and this was his way, but I don't see your actions being in the wrong at all. A normal person would have had a conversation and be like, your parents hanging out with him makes me feel a certain type of way. I know they are grown adults and can do whatever they want. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at them. But would it be possible if we had a conversation for them to not do this? Would they be comfortable with, is that too much of a request on my end to not have them hang out? I would talk like that and initiate that kind of conversation. And for you to blow it out and say, I don't know. I don't know, whatever that was, that's just a big sign of immaturity and you need to get a chill pill. My boyfriend says I cheated, but I don't think I did. I've been with my boyfriend/baby daddy for 5 years. Prior to meeting him, I had a friend named Jay. We met online and would have flirted here and there, but when I got with my boyfriend, I told him we should stop talking romantically, and we did. Since we had developed a friendship prior to meeting my boyfriend, we stayed friends on social media. I thought nothing wrong because 1, I made things clear to him, and 2, we were just friends from there. Throughout the 5 years, we'd wish each other Happy New Year's or Merry Christmas or Happy Birthday, but not every year. I think we would talk maybe 4 times a year at most. A few months ago, my boyfriend read the messages me and Jay sent to each other from 2017, prior to meeting my boyfriend, and said he doesn't know how to feel about me because I haven't been telling him the truth. And do not get me wrong, once he told me how it looks, I asked him, do I block or unfriend the guy? He said, do whatever I want. So I deleted and blocked him on everything because if it makes him uncomfortable, it's not a friendship worth keeping. He says he is mixed up on his feelings and doesn't know what to do. I said I admit fault because 1, it did look wrong, but I saw it so innocently since it never went past the talking stage. And 2, I made the boundary clear with him when I met my boyfriend. He told me I should have deleted those romantic messages from years ago, but Jay has them saved, and I didn't want to bring up that old stuff to Jay because low-key made me uncomfortable because it was so long ago. He said the fact that they're saved is what annoys him, but I feel like it would have been more sketchy to tell Jay to delete them now. It almost feels like being sneaky. I feel terrible for making him feel unwanted, and I feel so stupid for not seeing how it looked in his eyes. I don't want my relationship to get sour, but I feel like it might end completely. Also, I want to know, I never once tried to hide who I was talking to. I let him see my phone whenever and wherever, so he would see the messages I got from Jay from time to time. He never read them, Snapchat, but he saw who it was from. When my boyfriend would ask who it was, I would say, just a friend, because he was just a friend at the time. My thought process was what happened with him was in the past, why does it matter? But I should have told him the history behind Jay. I'm at a loss for words, I don't know what to do from here. I wouldn't care about messages prior to when I was with the person, and I can't give you too much shit because you did, once you realized how it looked and your boyfriend communicated that he felt uncomfortable with it, you did the right thing by deleting the contact, blocking it, everything. It should be good from there. I mean, I don't think that was a good relationship to have, so I'm glad you cut it off. I think that's a little weird in my opinion. If you're literally happy in a relationship and you still have a guy that you're talking to as a friend on the side, it kind of looks like you have someone on the back burner in case things don't go well with your current relationship. That's how I would look at it. But you handled it right and you didn't have any reservations about it, so it would really I would see the genuinity from you if that person was like, oh damn, you're right, this looks really bad, I'm gonna block him. Sorry, that's on me. I should have known better. But he has a very why does he care about the messages from beforehand? That's my question. Why does he care about those? And also I see where he's coming from because if he's asking you who's messaging you, you said just a friend. My friend's a guy. Because if the roles were reversed and he was doing that and you were like, oh, who's messaging you? And you said just a friend and it was a girl, I'd be like, what? Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, I think not telling him that Jay was someone that you were interested in for dating online, whatever, and then still continuing to talk to even just as friends. This, like I said, this could easily mean you were trying to keep a foot in the door to get back with Jay if things went south with your current boyfriend. So I understand his thing, but I think you did handle it right. And then if you guys have good communication, you guys can get past it. But people will disagree with me. I know. Trust me, I know. But this is how I think. Am I the asshole for putting my family on a school-wide intervention watch list? I, 31 female, have an 8-year-old daughter who just started at a new school this year. She's been adjusting well, except for one issue: my overly meddling family. Here's the backstory. My mom and older sister are the ultimate PTA queens. They volunteer for everything at my daughter's school, from bake sales to lunchtime monitors. They've always had opinions about how I raise my kid, but since they got access to the school, they've taken things to a new level. It started small, like swapping out snacks I packed in her lunch because they thought fruit roll-ups aren't nutritious. Fine, annoying, but whatever. Then it escalated. They showed up during recess to try and improve her social skills by forcing her to play with the kids she didn't even like. One day, my daughter told me her grandma made her hand out homemade motivational cards to every classmate during recess because she thought it would make her popular. My daughter was mortified. The final straw was when they pulled her out of gym class because they thought the teacher's activities were too aggressive for a girl and enrolled her in a knitting club without asking me. My daughter was crying because she wanted to play dodgeball, but my mom told her it was unladylike. So I went straight to the principal and had a meeting. I requested that my family be placed on an intervention watch list. This means they're no longer allowed to interfere with my daughter's activities, lunches, or basically anything at school without explicit permission from me. The principal agreed and I thought it was over. Well, now my family is furious. My mom is calling me ungrateful for all of the help she's given, and my sister said I'm ruining my daughter's life by not letting them guide her properly. They've even started a smear campaign in our PTA group claiming I'm a negligent parent who doesn't want what's best for my kid. So, am I the asshole for taking this drastic step? Do either of them have kids in the school? If not, what are they doing? This is like too much. I love my nephews and nieces, don't get me wrong. But there's there's certain things like I'm not their parent. No matter how much I love these kids and I play a role in their life, I'm not their parent. They have parents. What? The last sentence, the fact that your own family is claiming that you're a negligent parent who doesn't want what's best for my kid, that would set me off the edge. And you think you saying that, oh my gosh, mom, sister, you're right. I am being negligent. You guys should continue on what you were doing. You think that's going to make the situation better? What's their goal in all this? This is very, So someone's asked, do either of them have kids at school? And the OP says, neither. My mom nor her sister have kids at the school. They're just that committed to meddling in everyone else's lives. I feel like they're a bit purposeless, and this is one of those things that makes them feel important. I've already tried to address this calmly, but they don't seem to understand boundaries. A restraining order feels a bit extreme, and honestly a bit dramatic. But at this point, I might just need one. I just want my daughter to enjoy school without being micromanaged by her own family. Okay, let me read this top comment because I agree. I'm going to be blunt with you. They're insane, controlling weirdos, and you're not taking their behavior as seriously as you should. It seems like you're used to indulging them to prevent them from having tantrums, but that's not okay when it comes to your daughter's quality of life. She's supposed to be your number one priority, not them and their emotions. Your mom can't ground you. You don't have to answer when they call you, and you don't have to open the door when they knock. Let them have a tantrum. You will absolutely survive. Your relationship with your daughter might not if you can't put that foot down and leave it down. None of this is remotely normal, and your daughter needs you to put a permanent stop to it. That right there is advice that you should take. Not normal at all. Not in the slightest. All right, you guys, it's time for the final segment of today's episode, and that is a viewer's submission where you guys send me your stories that I can give my honest, upfront judgments, opinions, advice on. Am I the asshole for wanting to cut off my dad because he took me off his family's Spotify account? Ooh. Shots fired. I, 29 female, am the second youngest out of my mom and dad's biological children. My mom and dad divorced when I was 7, and until my dad met and married his current wife, I was always daddy's little princess. When he met my stepmom, she had 2 kids from her last marriage, which ended because her husband passed away. Even though I was hurting because my once happy, carefree life was torn apart, I was happy because we got to see my dad on the weekends and sometimes stay with him for a whole week because my mom still wanted us to have our dad. My stepmom was from Arizona and moved to San Diego to be with my dad because he didn't want to move away from us. A few years went by and we noticed we weren't going with my dad as often. When I asked my mom why we weren't going to my dad's house, she said, "Baby, I don't know how easily I can put this, but your dad moved a month ago to Arizona because he had a job opportunity there." I should note that my mom lied because the truth was my stepmom didn't want to live in San Diego anymore because she missed Arizona. I was hurt because he didn't tell us he would be leaving, and I was sad because I would really miss my dad. When I tried to call him, he was never available, and I would ask him to call me back no matter what the time was. I even asked my mom if she could wake me up when he would call. She would smile and promise me she would. On the rare occasions he would call back, he would tell me and my brothers to pack and get ready because he would come pick us up and take us to Arizona for the holidays. I would pack my bags so fast and wait in the living room. He would never come. Instead, he would call and say something came up and I would unpack. A few years later, my dad calls and says he has good news. Him and my stepmom got married and had a wedding. I remember the look on my mom's face when she saw my smile drop and tears fall. I asked him why I wasn't invited to the wedding, and he said, "I'm sorry, but it was a last minute thing and we didn't have time to get you." Keep in mind, whenever we did go to Arizona for vacations, my mom was the one who would take time off work and school to drive us to him. My mind went to blaming me and in a way also blame my mom because I was daddy's little princess and he would never do that to me. This is making me so sad. After they got married, my dad and stepmom had my little sister, and even though this solidified him and my mom's divorce, I loved her. When we would visit, I loved having a little mini-me, but my stepmom made it apparent to tell my dad, "You need to tell Alicia she cannot play with the baby 24/7. She would get mad at me for doing her hair and for dressing her to match me. I would be playing with her, and if she got hurt, my stepmom would ask me, 'What did you do to her?' It got to the point where even my step-siblings would tell her to stop picking on me. When I was 12, I had to live with my dad for 1 year because my mom was having financial difficulties and needed to save so we could move to Las Vegas where my oldest brother had been living and told my mom it was for the best. I was sad because I wouldn't be with my mom, whom I'm so close with, but I was excited I was going to be with my dad. The whole year was the hardest time for me. He would buy my little sister whatever she wanted. My stepmom was still fighting with me. My dad would take her side more and would leave us at the house while she took my stepmom and her kids out because it was cheaper for them to go and we'd have to wait for our turn to go out, which was never. Wow, that is unbelievable. How can you take your stepkids out but not? What the? Some guys just get whipped. It's so sad to see. My mom called me though every night to tell me goodnight, and she would tell me how much she missed me. I remember asking her one night if she could hurry and get us a house in Las Vegas because I wanted to leave Arizona so bad. She said she was trying her hardest and that she missed us and would come soon to visit. When she did visit, I ran to her with tears saying, "Please take me with her," because my dad's wife was hard to live with. My mom had a talk with my dad and said, "She needs to realize that you had 7 kids before you met him and they mattered just as much as her kids." They didn't like the sound of that, so they both limited my calls with my mom and even would tell me that I couldn't call her. When the year was up, we moved to Las Vegas. But the pent-up aggression I had was still there. I acted out in my early teens. I made it hard for my mom and she didn't know how to handle me, so my dad took me back. This time, he was a born-again Christian and was super strict with me. I had a dress code and was not allowed to talk to boys. He would physically punish me and my little brother because my older siblings moved out and it was just my stepmom's kids. He would buy her and her kids whatever they asked for. If I asked for something, it was always met with, "They need it more than you." Fast forward, I shaped up and moved back with my mom and distanced myself from my dad. When it was my 25th birthday, my dad called to tell me happy birthday and even apologized for how he treated me and my little brother, even stating he treated us harsher than her kids because she told him to. So, unbelievable. I forgave him and asked him if he could just treat my kids as he treated his other grandkids from my step-siblings, then we would be fine. He then doesn't call to ask how his grandkids are. He posts pictures often of step-siblings' kids, but none of my kids. When I brought this up with him, he said, "Well, they don't call me." I then told him they're kids. They shouldn't have to. Now that my kids are older, he asked for their phone numbers and he even told me to join his Spotify family plan so I can listen to music without ads, and I agreed. He also put all of the kids in a group chat. When I would talk to him, it was very short with me and he gave me one-word answers. I one time posted a picture of me and he ignored it. When my little sister posted a picture, he showered her with compliments. Even though that hurt, I ignored it. It wasn't until the other day when he asked me if I still use Spotify and I said yes, I do every day. He asked, "Can your niece, my stepsister's daughter, take your spot?" I lost my mind. I put my phone down and cried. I cried because to me, the Spotify was a gift. Years of hurt, trauma, and betrayal kept flooding over me. My mom said she was very sorry for giving me a father who traded us for a new family, and finally I realized all the times my mom would lie for my dad to protect us from heartbreak. I want to leave my dad for good, but deep down my inner child is making excuses for him. So I want to know, is it justified to cut him off? Oh my gosh. I'm sorry that you had to go through all this. Honestly, reading everything you've shared, my heart breaks for the little girl who just wanted her dad to show up for her, to love her the way that a parent should. And it hurts even more that the same pattern is continuing now as an adult with your kids being involved. I think your feelings are completely valid. You have every right to feel hurt and betrayed. He let you down time and time again. It's okay to feel like that inner conflict. Part of you wants to keep trying because you're holding on to the hope that he'll change or finally give you the love and attention you deserve. But let me say this. You don't have to keep hurting yourself to keep the door open for him. The way I see it, you have 2 options. First, you can set very firm boundaries, let him know exactly what you expect from him moving forward and make it clear that if he can't meet those expectations, you're stepping back for your own peace. But honestly, if you're tired of this cycle, you're 100% justified in cutting ties for good. I know that it might feel like giving up, but it's not. Choosing to protect your heart And your mental health doesn't mean you don't love him or wish things were different. It just means you're done sacrificing yourself for someone who hasn't shown they're willing to meet you halfway. And don't feel guilty about the inner child part of this. That little girl inside you deserves so much better, but it's not your job to keep chasing him to heal her. It's okay to let go. If you decide to walk away, know that you're not being selfish. You're choosing peace for yourself and your kids. Ugh, thank you for reaching out. That makes me so sad. Ugh, I don't like these types of stories. All right, you guys, that's it for today's episode. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for tuning in. It truly means the world. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, turn on notifications. If you have a story or if you guys have a story or want to share a dilemma you'd like me to weigh in on, don't hesitate to reach out. Remember, life isn't always black and white. There's beauty in the gray. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep exploring the in-betweens. Bye.